Hello and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk everything related to G20. So G20 is called as the Group of 20. It's a premier forum for international economic cooperation. What is basically a forum? A forum is a meeting or a gathering in which you can showcase your views, your interests, and all the important topics which you want to discuss and exchange ideas. So it's an international forum in which all the countries they send their representatives who basically talk about different issues which are related to the field of trade, commerce, as well as international cooperation. So, what does G20 mainly do? It plays a very important role in shaping as well as strengthening, empowering global architecture and also governance on all international economic issues in order to discuss various kinds of economic issues and take actions on those issues for global development and progress. So, India holds its presidency of G20 from the 1st of December 2022 to 30th of November 2023. G20 was founded on the 26th of September 1999 after after the big financial crisis which all the Asian countries faced. So it was a forum for the finance ministers and the central bank governors to discuss all the economic issues, all the financial and global economic issues, and to find out solutions to the various problems which are faced. G20 comprises of 19 different nations, including Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Republic of Korea, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, United Kingdoms, and US, as well as European Union. So, if you combine all these important nations of the world, it represents around 85% of the global GDP and 75% of global trade, as well as two-thirds of the world population. Thereafter, we conclude that G20 consists of all the important economic nations of the world. So, in addition to the regular international organizations, there are other countries which are also invited. So, they invited international organizations into GDP. From year to year, whichever country has the presidency can select and invite few organizations to become a part of the forums. So, in addition to the regular countries as well as organizations, we have UN, IMF, WB, WHO, WTO, ILO, FSP, as well as OECD, which are included. Along with that, there are some regional organizations which are also invited, like AU, ODA, AUDA, NEPAD, NEPAD, and ASEAN. Under Indian presidency, some important institutions and organizations are also invited, like ISA, CTRI, and ADB. So, whichever country holds the presidency for G20 for a certain time period or for 1 year, they basically host all the summits and all the forums in their country and prepares for all the issues that has to be discussed. So it is done in two tracks. One is in finance track and the other is Sherpa track. So when we are talking about these two tracks, they are basically two kinds of forums which are undertaken by G20. In finance track, basically the finance ministers and the central bank governors, they undertake the meetings. In these meetings, they discuss about the global macroeconomic issues of all the economic issues which are dealt in this globe or in all these countries, and through the meetings they try to resolve the problems. It is attended by the finance ministers and the central bank governors as well as their deputies. Sherpa in Tibetan language means a well educated and wise man. So basically, Sherpa track is conducted and taken over by the representatives of all these countries. Sherpas lead the Sherpa track. They are the representatives of all these member countries who are personal emissaries of the leaders. So, such a leadership summit was first conducted in the year 2008, which was undertaken by the representatives of the head of all these member states. And all these Sherpas they come together to discuss various goals like in education, health, in digital economy, for tourism, culture, agriculture, trade, commerce, investment, employment, anti corruption. So they talk on all these important issues and topics. Currently, G20 Sherpa track is led by Amitabh Kant and his official team. They undertook the G20 Summit of New Delhi. So annually the Sherpas they meet and they negotiate various terms. Over the course of the year, they discuss various issues and they are the working committee, they are the working members who work on all these issues. Whereas the financial track is led by the Ministry of Finance and they also meet regularly throughout the term. And the representatives from the various relevant ministries they basically conduct the finance track. They are invited, all the guests are also invited from various countries and they discuss various financial issues. So often on you will be hearing about troika, which is a term mostly used in reference to G20. Troika is basically the presidency which is supported by troika. Troika involves the previous year whichever country was conducting G20, that country as well as the current country which is conducting the presidency as well as the incoming presidency. So India is the current presidency. Before that there was Indonesia, and after this year in 2024 Brazil will be undertaking the presidency. So all these three countries, Indonesia, India and Brazil, will consist of the troika. G20 is held every year annually and it is under a certain leadership. And every year the leadership is changing, it's a rotating presidentship. So basically, all the civil societies and the parliaments come together and they discuss various issues like on women empowerment, youth, labor, businesses, researches which are conducted by the G20 countries, all the developmental programs which have to be conducted. Recently, there has been some initiation and the topics has become more broader, like they have started discussing about macroeconomic issues, which is all the economic issues which are faced globally around the world, which is related to trade, commerce, agendas, sustainable development, health issues, population, pollution, agriculture, conservation of energy, energy resources, environmental degradation, climatic changes, anti corruption, etc. Since India is conducting the G20 presidentship in 2023, the logo is also based upon India. The logo draws inspiration from the vibrant colors of the India's national flag, which includes saffron, white, green and blue, thus taking inspiration from the Tiranga or the tricolor. In this logo, you can also see a lotus. A lotus is basically the national flower of India, which reflects growth amongst all the challenges, as a lotus grows in dirt and mud. Similarly, India also has to face various challenges, yet it grows and prospers. So, this logo reflects harmony with nature in reference to the natural environment. G20 logo has also got Bharat written in Devanagari script. The theme consists of Vasudev Kutumbakam, or one earth, one family, and one future. which is drawn from an ancient Sanskrit text, Maha Upanishad. What does Vasudev Kutumbakam means? It means that everyone is equal. All life forms are exactly the same. Whether animals, plants, human beings, even microorganisms, they all are interconnected with one another. So all the life forms are interconnected with one another. So that also focuses on the environment and the ecosystem. So the theme also emphasizes on life, which is lifestyle for environment, which is associated with environmental conditions and sustainable development. And we need to make responsible choices so that the ecology and environment can be preserved for the future. So that holds responsible both at the individual as well as the national level. So the national development and the programs which are to be conducted leads to global transformation and which also results in a cleaner, greener and bluer future. So it should ensure a better environmental condition as well. And this is indeed a very powerful message which is conveyed that through these turbulent and important and disturbing times of coronavirus, in a sustainable and holistic manner, we should develop and prosper, and we should also take responsibility so that the health as well as environment should not be compromised, and everything has to be included in a holistic manner. So it basically emphasizes on living in harmony with the surrounding ecosystem. So the G20 presidency is also the beginning of Amrit Kal, which is a 25-year period beginning from the 75th anniversary of the independence of India on the 15th of August 2022. So it was a centenary of the independence of India towards a better, futuristic, prosperous, as well as developed society. So the 18th summit of G20 was held in New Delhi in India, which was a culmination of all the G20 programs and processes and meetings which were held throughout the years amongst all the members and ministers and senior officials as well as civil societies. At the conclusion of G20 summit, a leaders' declaration is adopted, and this states the leaders' commitment towards the priorities and the topics which are discussed, and also a promise to work on all these topics which are discussed and agreed upon. So G20 meetings were held throughout this year in various cities which were host cities, and from time to time it was changed from Kashmir, Amritsar, New Delhi, Varanasi, Raipur, Bangalore, Chandigarh, Guwahati, Indore, Jodhpur, Khajuraho, Kolkata, Lucknow, Mumbai, Pune, Ran of Kutch, Surat, Tiruvananthapuram, as well as Udaipur and Chennai.